7:30ish, 8 o'clock sometimes. I go to gym every single day. And that's official start of my day.
Power to Live More with Joe Dodds.
Welcome to the Power to Live More podcast, all about productivity, organisation, well-being, energy and resilience. I'm Jo Dodds, and I started this show to enable interesting people to share their stories about how they use their power to live more, and by that I mean to do the stuff that they want to do more than the stuff that they need to or should do. It's about creating a life for yourself where you have the energy, health and space to be happy and fulfilled, spending your time as you'd like, whether that be at work, home or somewhere else entirely. That's your choice.
Hello, my name is Ellie Dodds and I am co-presenter, and today Jo is interviewing Ed Rich. Jo and Ed connected originally via LinkedIn. Ed is the host of the Growth Hacking Show and community for business coaches and consultants. He's hosted 2 online summits about video blogging and blockchain. Ed's one word is disruption, and he's the co-founder of booksmine.com, which is a traffic funnels and automation agency for influencers, business coaches and consultants. Ed helps them disrupt their market, create a blue ocean and make their competition irrelevant with a concept called sync selling. Ed's learning style is debates and discussions, and this got him into trouble more than he can count. Come and join Ed's community at joe.booksmine.com and get free access to Community Toolkit to growth hack your business. Back to the studio.
Today I'm interviewing Ed Rich of Growth Hacking Community for Coaches and Consultants. Welcome, Ed. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you, Joe. It's my pleasure.
Lovely. Start by telling us a bit about who you are, what you do, and where you do it.
I think there are many ways to introduce me and who I am, what I do, because I'm a polymath. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick the most relevant entry point, and that is I would love people to see me as the community builder, and I'm building a community called Growth Hacking Community, as the name suggests. So this is the project that is taking most of my time today. But other than that, I'm a growth hacker, marketer, and have been in this field for the last 5 years, and have worked on the capacity of consulting and agency side. So freelancing, consulting, and agencies. I've gone through all those phases on and off. That's what my experiences have been. Yeah.
Lovely. And where are you based?
I'm based in Cotswold. It's a very lovely countryside in the UK. One of the most beautiful green zone in the UK, basically.
Lovely. And do you work from home?
Sorry?
And do you work from home?
Yes. I have a home-based office.
Lovely.
And that's lovely.
So you sound like you have a varied background, and as you say, a number of projects that you've been working on. So tell us a bit about why you do what you do, how you've got to where you are now in terms of why you do what you do.
Right. So let's pick up the marketing side, the digital marketing side. The reason why I think a good place to start would be I got my job after MBA 7 years ago. That was in a not-for-profit, like one of the global not-for-profits called TIE. And I was handling their UK headquarters. So it's called chapter manager, and we were sending out emails to members, and there were around 3,000 members. It was a subscription-based model. And the CRM, the database management system they were using was horrible, early 1990s style. And it was very clumsy and difficult to handle. So what we were doing, we end up, and that was way more efficient than using the system, was copy pasting those 3,000 email addresses into Microsoft Outlook and blast out the emails whenever we had to send the emails out. And that was the time if you've ever tried doing that, you know what happens when like your email is full of hundreds of replies and hundreds of bounce emails and stuff like that. So it's every time I send an email, it was a mess. So I was thinking like there must be a better way to do this. And I started digging into podcasts, and I purchased a book. At that time, I had no idea about digital marketing or any marketing at all, other than the marketing they teach in MBA, which is only relevant to corporates or if you are a marketing consultant writing reports. So big theories, not really practical. Didn't help me in that job anyway. So that's how I jumped into marketing to figure it out. But once I left that job, let's say a year after that, by that time, the entrepreneurship bug hit me already. So I wanted to not look for another job, but instead start something of my own. So I did a lot of ventures. One of them was a blog network, like 7-8 different niche blogs. Another one was an e-commerce drop shipping company with my wife and a couple of more. So that's how I found my passion into the creative side of marketing. So making things happen out of nowhere. So funnels is one example of that. But then in the process, I did so many experimentation that my strategy became better. So I started as a consultant, as an email automation, email marketing. Now, it's funny that a year and a half before that, I was sending out blasted emails in using Microsoft Outlook. And then I consumed a lot of courses, books, and attended a lot of trainings. And by that time, I became so professional in email marketing that was my entry point into marketing, like professional marketing. And then I realized that people who need email marketing actually have funnel problems. So I moved on to do funnels. And the cycle goes like the same, that you find something that you are not that good at, then you buy a lot of courses, you even go and travel, attend seminars, conferences, and trainings. And then before you know it, you have a lot of knowledge and you're not using those. So you go out and use that knowledge as a professional service. So that's how I entered into funnels. Then I realized people who have they actually have traffic problem as well, because funnels themselves without traffic is useless. So then I got into traffic management as well. But then going through the whole cycle gave me kind of a perspective, and I see them like all of these channels dancing together. And that gave me the edge on the marketing strategy side. So, and that was that's why I'm in marketing, because I myself had those problems which I tried to solve, and in process learned the things that I'm now sharing on professional basis and applying as well at the same time to either myself or my clients.
So what does a typical day look like for you? What sort of work are you doing, and how do you make that happen through the day or through the week or through the month?
Yeah, so I have a very systemic approach to my day. So I'm an ENFP personality type. So if you know anything about Myers-Briggs, you know this one is very difficult to manage. This personality is super creative, hyperactive, hyper creative. Anything that can distract you will definitely distract you. And shiny object syndrome could be an understatement for this personality type. So it's very difficult to manage, and because of that, I struggled a lot. But then because of that, I got into a lot of productivity and experimentation. And basically, I learned experimentation. I studied it in my MBA, but never practiced it until I get into marketing, and especially the email marketing and Facebook ads and advertisement marketing. So the process is basically you come up with small experiments, and then you document them, and you get some result, either good or bad, or like acceptable or non-acceptable, and then you keep doing this, you keep repeating that. So I started managing my day like that. So eventually I tried many systems to organize myself, including I don't know if you've heard of, there's a book called Getting Results the Agile Way, one of the really good books by J.D. Meyer. It's a really highly recommended book. So that gave me a lot of systemic thinking stuff on how to organize your day, your life. But it was not totally appropriate for my style, because this is written by somebody who deals with Excel sheets day and night. And I'm like, I have headaches if I work with Excel sheet more than 15 minutes. So didn't 100% worked out for me. Then I did a lot of different there are daily journals, like the productivity journal, the 5-minute journal, the freedom journal. So I got into those to organize my day, but then I realized they're too restrictive, because if I feel like, I need to add this, remove that from my daily thingy, they're too restrictive to do that. So it was not really appealing to my creativity. So I end up, after reading a book called The Bullet Journal, which was kind of the revolutionized my way of actually organizing my day. So bringing all of those things that I have learned before, including Pomodoro technique, combined together into one system. That happened after I learned one thing from this book, which was create an index of everything that you're doing in separate pages. So instead of creating a physical pen and paper journal, I use Evernote to organize my day. So here's how my day looked like.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at my journal template right now. And I may be able to share this with your audience. If people are interested in that, they can copy and manipulate and make their own version of this. So I wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I have check boxes, by the way. So I don't use any app, because I know like apps disappear after every couple of months or years. Their data doesn't transfer to different devices, or something or the other happen, companies close down. So I don't want to rely on any of those. And wanted to rely on something that I can keep with me for the rest of my life. If I want to look back, reflect anytime I can, that, okay, that day I did that and made me fat,
Yeah.
So wake up at 6 o'clock, then take, I was doing exercises and stuff. So I was taking fat burner. So I put in my ritual, like, okay, eat fat burner. And fat burner basically is a high caffeine pill. So what happens is you wake up, take caffeine, and you don't feel sleepy anymore. Then do meditations and stuff. Then I start my day in filling this journal entry. And this, what this does is it resets my day. So no matter what my mental state I am in, it brings back the focus into this, how I'm going to organize my day. Then have a gratitude exercise, affirmations. I don't really believe in those too much, because a lot of people say, oh, you need to have a gratitude exercise, you need to have today's a daily affirmation and this and that. Like, I've been doing it for a year. I don't see significant change. I see people talking about it, that it totally changes your life and this and that. Not really. To me, it sounds more like an insider belief system. So it works only if you believe in it. I'm neutral on it. Like, I'll do it anyway because I have to test it. So I did it. So then I have a revision of my vision. So every day I write down from scratch what was my vision, so that I remember it, like I recall it. Then I have a study time. So because that's why I'm waking up at 6, so that I can get some time for myself. So I dedicate around 3 Pomodoros every single day, either reading a book, online course, or some homework from the previous course that I was supposed to do. Then around like 7:30-ish, 8 o'clock sometimes, I go to gym every single day. And that's official start of my day. Every single day. And if you see my workout, it's also as structured as this. You can just checklist them every single day. And that's how it's been so easy that I don't have to prepare. I don't have to convince myself to go to gym. It's just a signifier of starting my day. So I start my day, come back home in an hour. By the way, gym is just 3 minutes away from my home. So I have that advantage. Yeah. So then again, practicing financial gratitude exercise, I felt not a single pound increase in my earning by doing this alone. So again, I'm skeptical on people who say do it. I'm doing it still because I'm testing it. you know. Um, then
Does work,
sorry.
even something just in case it does work, even if you don't believe it, it's worth
Yeah,
doing, isn't it?
exactly. I have nothing to lose, you know.
Sorry, carry
So
on.
then productivity. Then what I do is I collect yesterday's productivity score. So I go through yesterday's this filled up sheet, and I score myself how productive it was. Now, I tried doing it in the evening, like everyone else suggests. For my personality, it doesn't work. That was the most skipped activities for throughout the day, that evening reflection. So what I did was I moved it to the next day morning. So I will reflect on next day, because every time I come up with, oh yeah, I should be doing this tomorrow, and then tomorrow I will wake up and I won't even remember. I won't feel like doing it.
Yeah.
Then I go through just checking out what went well, what did not went well, habit tracking. So I have a checklist of habits that I'm trying to maintain and do. So I have an extensive kind of checklist. Now, all of these takes not more than half an hour to complete, like everything, every one of these. It sounds really big and too much, but once you do it, like properly set it like this, it doesn't take more than 1 Pomodoro a day. So 1 Pomodoro given to your planning and reflection, I think is a good investment of your time.
Yes, yeah.
So then habit tracking and then scoring at the end of the week. Just like that, I have a weekly thingy. I have some business metrics that every day I just put some numbers there to check where it is. That include the websites or funnel status or something that I would like to check on those days. Then I figure out what was the challenges and how I can creatively solve that challenge if that happened again. And then do a final thought of yesterday. Then I move on to do these rituals for the same for this day, the upcoming day, which is like if I'm doing this in the morning, about the rest of the day. So things like why it will be a great day, what am I obsessed about, because I picked this idea. Oh, by the way, so for example, I'm reading a book. For example, Be Obsessed by Grant Cardone. And I picked up, okay, so one takeaway from that book is you have to be obsessed about your something, right? What you want to achieve. So, okay, so how about if I make it my ritual reminder that I have to be obsessed about something that I stand for or something like that, right? So every day I remind myself, okay, this is that takeaway from that book. It takes just like literally 10 seconds for me to do that, to remember it. Then I list down all the tasks. By the way, these all are like sequential, so are in exactly this order every single day. List down all the tasks, then highlight the most uncomfortable one, put them to do first, and then I have a list of things that I want to ritualize. So again, as I said, in my personality type, it's very difficult to be consistent on something because I like to create something new every now and like every opportunity I can get. So it's very easy to get sidetracked. So things like posting videos on social media is something that needs consistency. Yeah. So what I did was I create a daily workflow ritual. You can also call it workflow. And that changes from time to time, by the way. But these are fixed items on my daily task list. So I just have to make sure as I have to tick as many of those as possible in a day. And those include content planning, content creation. And if there's a consulting project or client project that I'm doing that needs some kind of consistency, for example, daily checking of Facebook ads status or something, I put it there. These are non-negotiable. And then beyond those are other activities like prospecting, podcast recording, podcasting, and stuff like that. And then the daily activities. And this is how I just like organize the whole day in a systemic way and run through it.
It sounds really structured, and as you said, some of the stuff you were telling me sounded like it was going to take hours, but as you said, it was just half an hour. Do you actually stick to this every day? And if you do, how? And if you don't, what derails you, and how do you get back on track?
Okay. Yes, that's an excellent question, and it bothered me a lot because I don't. I have like streak of 3 months straight where I'm not missing a single day, but then something sometimes happen that you missed out on something. So I used to feel really bad if I missed out those streaks, but I don't mind anymore. So the idea is now because a lot of these things have now become part of my automatic doing. So for example, those 20 habits that when I started this, I was trying to put in, for example, cold showers. I've been doing it for 2 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, the Wim Hof method. Now, again, everyone is talking about, oh, it's changing their life and this and that. Like, I'm skeptical. I've been doing it for 2 years. The only reason I'm doing it now is because I don't want to break my record. I don't see a significant difference in my health. At the same time, I've done another experiment, which was intermittent fasting every single day.
Yeah.
And I see that alone has made my body so powerful, so more such like I feel that my body is way more powerful and stronger than when I was in my teens right now. And I'm 37. Mm-hmm. So these experiments, taking note of those and what I'm feeling like that, if I can do it every single day, fine. If not, that's fine too, because I know that what I'm supposed to do anyway, because that has become like an embedded ritual in the mind. So that was the goal, and I keep changing these. So this doesn't look like if you look back 6 months ago, this template was a little bit different. So I'm evolving it. This is my system. It works on me. So if you are replicating it on yourself, you have to figure out what works and what not, and you have to go through your own journey. And that's why I've created kind of a small training. I actually wanted to create a course on Udemy for this, so I started creating it. I created the core theories, but then because it was not fitting in very much with my niche, like the industry that I'm working in, I dumped the project. So what I did was I made it available to everyone anyway. So I'll be able to share that link with you. And people can actually go through the system and create their own from scratch. And the scratch means nothing more than a checklist of to-do list.
Yes.
You begin from there, and then there are modules. So for example, everything that I'm talking about, let's say health, habits, these are kind of modules. You can just copy paste them, whatever you want to fit in, and change whatever you like. So it's more like a text-based system which anyone can modify for their own use. So I hope that I'll be able to convert this into a signature program sometime, but when I'm in that niche, not right now. This is hobby project for now.
Yeah. So you obviously you're learning and you're researching, and then you're testing, and as you say, there's some things that you're doing that you're not sure they're particularly having an impact, but what the hell, you might as well carry on, sort of thing. But when we were preparing for the show, you talked about having overcome your lifelong symptoms of chronic fatigue almost overnight. So I'm interested, given what you've already described about your ability to sort of systemize and plan and test stuff, to find out a bit more about how that happened and the story behind that. So could you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah. So there are different ways people describe chronic fatigue syndrome. For me, it was that if I stand for 15 minutes, I started to get tired. My feet started to hurt, my back started to hurt, and my eyes will get so heavy that I really need to take a nap or a sleep, like 2-hour long sleep, in order to come out of that phase. And it was dominating my life. So I didn't enjoy going out with my family and going to shopping or anything. Like, I was not enjoying those things. Plus, my capacity to work in like long sittings was totally destroyed. And that was happening since my childhood. So and in the beginning, everyone else around my family at that time, my parental family, they used to think that I'm lazy. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to take responsibility. And I believe that because everyone else was saying, I believe that as well. But when I left that world, nothing changed. It still stayed the same. So the change happened when I was listening to a podcast by well, by the way, and that is while going to gym regularly. So I've been going to gym, doing exercises, trying different exercises for, I think, almost 20 years now. So it was not the health issue in the sense of lifestyle or something like that, right? So I couldn't figure out what is going on. I talked to doctors. Doctors cannot figure out anything. They think like it's only in your mind. I was like, okay, maybe it's true. Maybe it's in my mind. Maybe whatever it is. I had a child abuse history of like, I don't know, that's another can of worms. My parents abusing, narcissistic abusing me. So like I had a kind of a depression history. I thought maybe it's related with that. And I'm talking about suicidal depression. So I thought it's all like all those negativities is creating this kind of cog and stuff like that, because I was hanging too much in self-help world. And you start to think like that, how the self-help word talks about. That may not be the reality anyway. It's just one reality. So I listened to this podcast by Joe Rogan and Jordan Peterson, one of the recent one, and he talked about the carnivore diet, and that was totally opposite of what I was thinking. Like maybe have to move to vegan or vegetarian, completely vegetarian diet or something like that. And he said like his depression went away, and that was a trigger for me. Like I didn't care about the chronic fatigue or something. So considering my realities and the market I have around me, things where I purchase things, the idea was buy organic meat and eat only meat, no sauces, nothing, no carbs, nothing else. And he said that try it on your own risk. But once you drop an idea like that to me, I have to try it. I really have to try it. So sorry.
I said I think we've established that. Yes.
Yeah. So, but I could not find. I mean, I don't have like we live in a place where we don't have an organic shop nearby, so it was not a sustainable that we'll go to a city and buy it like once a week or something like that. So like, okay, whatever we can find nearby. So we find meat, whatever normal meat we do. So what we can do is we can reduce the carbs and other elements that I'm eating, and I can experiment with that. And then I did that. So it's not really carnivore diet, but I removed carbs totally. And that thing, the removing of carbs alone in an experiment to try something else, carnivore diet, did the change. Like I could suddenly next day I feel like my body, I didn't get tired. And it's been more than a year now, I think, since that episode was released, that I'm maybe eating carbs once a week or something.
Right.
And my body level, like my energy level is so amazing. And now I've even experimented and combined it with intermittent fasting, and that all goes against the normal. By the way, I forgot to tell about my day closes with a gym as well. So my day starts with a gym and it closes with an hour of gym. So 2 hours of gym means that you need a lot of protein, you need a lot of carbs, you need a lot of food going in more than normal person. But now with intermittent fasting and carnivore diet, a hybrid of that combined together, I'm not really consuming any carbs. I'm consuming less than normal. Like I'm eating only within 8 hours, 2 meals, less than a normal person. And I'm becoming stronger and stronger. My muscles are becoming better and better. I'm losing body fat percentage. I'm eating fats, by the way. I'm eating butter like crazy, as much as I want. So just cut sugar, carbs, and that alone. And because of that experimentation, I was able to pinpoint, because the moment I stopped doing it, I could see the result next day. And I can pinpoint, okay, that's the one thing I stopped yesterday out of everything else I'm doing. And that made this change. And then I can replicate that again. I tried that many times again. And every time now I eat carbs, I could feel my body energy level that, okay, I can see the difference. This carb gives me this kind of surges of my body and, ups and downs. And that was never possible before until I was experimenting and isolating everything else that I was doing. I was like, yeah, okay, cool. It's helped me more than ever before.
Yeah. I tell you what, you're going to the gym twice in a day. You're making me tired just thinking about it.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I thought that too. But how I structure my gym is that instead of doing 1 hour cardio, like you could split your gym like, okay, if you're a hardcore, you will think like that. You'll do 1 hour cardio maybe in the morning, and then 1 hour workout with weights in the evening, right? Or 45 minutes. But cardio is super boring for me. Like, I never did cardio in my life before I started this 2 times a day regime. So what I did was, okay, I split 30 minutes cardio, and that 30 minutes is my either entertainment time. I watch movies on Netflix, or while walking, like on the treadmill, or I consume another course, like whatever course I was consuming in the morning, or listen to audiobook, depending on my mood. Sometimes podcasts, but mostly those things come, like whatever I feel like, because I switch. Sometimes I get bored with one and I have to move. So that's more like educational, edutainment time. So you won't even realize that you're doing exercise during that time. And then the remaining 30 minutes, you just do weights. Now, 30 minutes of weights exercise doesn't hurt. It's super easy to do compared to 1 hour of weights exercise. And you can easily manage that. And they're fixed. So that's the same in the evening. So I do exactly the same in the evening, do cardio. And every 2 days, I take a break. I'll do just like full day cardio. Of 2 different types and stuff. So that way I broke it down, made it so easy that I don't even have to think about it. And I rotate my body parts. So for example, arms in the morning, then legs in the evening. The next morning I'll do triceps, let's say, or shoulders, and back in the evening, something like that. So it's super easy. I don't have to think. I don't have to take notes of it because I know everything is set. I don't want to add more things to take note of. I want to actually take as little notes as possible so that the experimentation will still go on without me spending time taking these notes and doing the journaling, because that becomes a job in itself otherwise. And I hate that.
Yes. Yeah. So you talked before we started about a productivity system that you use, an external operating system, you call it, called your brain backup. Tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah. So the thing that I was explaining, the template for managing my day, is part of a brain backup. So this is just the way of managing my day. But besides that, there are ways of documenting the important things in your life in a very systemic way. And that systemic way is, of course, picked from the bullet journaling system. But made it hybrid with the productivity systems I learned from Getting Results the Agile Way, and a course I did some time before with John Butcher called Life Book. Yeah, I think it was Life Book, your Life Book series. So which covers 12 areas in your life that that you have to manage at any given point. You have to give different priorities, but and that brings us to the priority thingy, that how do you prioritize the things in life? That's based on these 12 categories that goes in the brain backup thingy, that you identify. You put up a goal every year. You put a goal on those categories. And by the way, let me just quickly cover those 12 categories. So that they are health and fitness. That's a category that will never leave. At least it has to be in one of the top 3 priorities of your life at any given point. Mm-hmm. Second is intellectual life. That is naturally my very strong point. Like, I have that as a strength that I could use to strengthen any other. And this system is part of me using that intellectual capacity to build and strengthen every other area of those 12 categories. The emotional life, people don't think they have an emotional life, but emotional life dominate us. Spiritual life, not like religiously spiritual, but more like character development. For me, that's spiritual. Growth is spiritual, anything that's growing. Then love relationship, that means my relationship with my wife. Parenting, my relationship with my kids. What are my goals with that? Social life, what are my goals with my social circle, my business social circle, like not really business, but on the side, like my friends, my neighbors, or any other kind of social activities that I involve in. And financial life, that is again part of a business. You need to have a financial goal. Usually what happens is when people put up, oh, my goal, number one goal is this, and usually it's like, oh, making $1 million or doing this, just one area. But basically you cannot ignore those 12 areas. You just prioritize them based on your immediate need. So for me, financial goal is the number one right now. Number two always has to be the health, and number three keep changing. So number two is non-negotiable at this moment, health, and it has to give structure to everything. And the third one is career. The 10th one is career. Basically, which direction my career is going, and where do I want it to go. 11th is the overall quality of life. That include the houses you have, the cars and luxuries you have, what kind of lifestyle you're living. And the 12th one is the overall vision itself. Now, I'm not talking about goals, but the vision, how I envision myself in the future. This could change, but that also is like one of those 12 categories. So this system is now I have crafted it for myself, for personalizing it, crafted it to fit these 12 categories. But then you can have your own system. It could have only 3 categories, like maybe business is one, personal life and fitness is one, or health, food is one. And then you can use these modules and smaller kind of snippets to copy paste and create your own templates, and then just organize your day that way. Take notes of everything that is noteworthy in your life only in one system, in one place, which is indexed using the bullet journaling method. And that was the magic. Index, bind all of this knowledge together in one page. So you're just 3 clicks away from any kind of knowledge that matters to you, and that you have taken a note from. So it's different from writing journal and spending hours looking for the page where you wrote what, because in Evernote you can actually cross-link them. And the idea behind this was, if you go step outside tomorrow and a bus hit you and you lose your memory, you don't know how to access passwords, you don't know all the important things that you have in your life, how will you come out of that? So in my case, I would just go and refer to this backup of the brain. Everything that matters is there. Everything else, like thoughts and stuff, are not there. Doesn't need to be there. Just anything that needs to take a note of. So for example, Evernote has a scannable app that scans that. I think it uses AI. So you can literally scan anything, and it can even read all the text which is there in the scan. So all the documents that are important, just scan it and put in Evernote, and then put in your index what topic it's related to, which area of your life it's related with, and it's there, just there. It's your operating system. You don't need a Mac or a computer or something. You can use anywhere. It's even accessible online, and that's it. That was the idea. So if a bus hit you tomorrow and your memory goes away, will you be able to have access to all the information that you need to live your life like you're living today? This is the answer.
Lovely, thank you. So what about tools and apps? What are your top 3 tools or apps that you're using?
I'm so tempted to say Evernote number 1, Evernote number 2, and Evernote number 3. but that would be cheating. So I would say Evernote, and then there's an app called Scannable, which is by Evernote as well, and it's available on smartphone. It's a free app, goes well with Evernote, and anything that you need to scan, it will automatically detect the edges of the document and scan it as if it's a PDF made on a computer properly. Like, so it's so beautiful and organize them. And then when you search for a term in Evernote, it searches through that scanned image as well. So it just helps. It just solves life. Imagine all your bills from the past months piled together in one big bundle, like 2 feet long bundle, and you have to find one particular transaction from that. In real life, it will be a headache. But in Evernote, you just type the day, name of the bank statement, or whatever you wanted, and then it will give you all the options, all the scans that are available with that kind of text in it. Just solves my life, make life super easy that way. So those are the 2 tools. The third one is Pomodoro Technique timer. You can use any timer for that, but I love to use, there's a tool called Focus Pro. I think I'm looking at my computer. It's on Mac by this name, but in reality, it doesn't matter which tool you use, as long as you're using a Pomodoro timer to time block, to avoid distraction, especially for a personality like mine who can get distracted super easy. That's the tool to do. Now, there's one book I would like to recommend. I'm cheating from your top three, going to the fourth one, but this dominates the top three tools I told you about, and that is a book called Deep Work by Carl Newport. That deep work is amazing. I mean, what it does is it tells you to do one thing at a time. And I use this system to make sure that I'm working on one thing at a time. I do drift away from that. I'm not like OCD style doing only that. Sometimes, some days I'm so energized that I do that, but not always. So that's the book which I would say that you must read if you want to implement any kind of system in your life.
Yes. Yeah. Lovely. Thank you. So last couple of questions. Firstly, what happens when it all goes horribly wrong? You've got so much structure to what you do. What about those days where you just have a terrible day and it all goes wrong? How do you deal with that?
That's a very good question. The reality is I just let it go and I come back again tomorrow morning. Tomorrow is another day. So because again, when you sleep and you wake up in the morning, it's a fresh start. So sometimes you take advantage of that. If you had a messy day, I've been, let's say, eating a lot of, junk on the previous day, there's no point in just like, oh, I just broke my record or this and that. Like, okay, let's start again tomorrow. And the tomorrow morning when I'm reflecting and I'm just going through the system, okay, I saw that happen, and this was the reason why I got this thought of eating this stuff. Today I have to just avoid that. And you wake up and then you start afresh. I think that's the easiest thing I've learned to deal with this.
Yes. Yeah. And what about those days where you get to live more, and that's where you get to do more of the things that you want to do and less of the things that you feel you should do or you have to do? What do those days look like? And I guess I'm quite intrigued in this, particularly with you, because you do have so much structure to your day. So do those things that you do on a daily basis become shoulds and have tos, and therefore your live more stuff is something else? Or are you actually enjoying those things? So tell me what that day when you live more really looks like.
Okay, so first thing, I just want to make sure that there's no way I'm a structured person. If I don't put this system in place, I'm worse. I'm like a painter. I'm literally, my personality type is like Leonardo da Vinci, has the same, but on a little bit on extreme side. But everything will be all over the place if I don't try to put checks and balances. So that's why. And I started small and it worked. So I started doing more and more and more. And I started getting very good results with that. So that's why I'm doing it. Now, I wish I could say that I had those days when everything is like bliss, because there's one regret that I have. And that's kind of a curse of entrepreneurship. At least for now, I haven't got to that stage where I can totally detach myself from work, because every time I'm awake, I'm actually working in some way or the other. Either in ideas, either in worries, either in something I have to do in the future or have not done in the past. So one of the regrets I have is when I spend time with my kid, I really, really, really enjoy time spending with him. But I'm again, the inner beast is drifting me back to some other work thingy. So I'm not 100% able to enjoy the time. So it will become my priority very soon, like in the next month or 2 or 3 months, something, but it was not really a big priority. So I just let it go. Okay. I mean, if I'm feeling like that, I don't have to feel bad, because I know that when it becomes like a big issue, I will make that category of life, which is the parenting, my top priority for the next 3 months or something like that. Right. So I can pick and choose those priorities. And every time you say yes to something, you have to understand that whether you say no to other things or not, other things will get a no from your life. So that's one thing. Then what I do these days is I There are two ways I take kind of a refresh. Every Saturday, me and my wife and my kids, we go to Bristol or Gloucester or nearby cities, and we just enjoy the day hanging in a bookshop. I really love reading books, and my kid, we don't have TV, so my son is grown up around books. So for him, books and puzzles are just normal part of life. So that's what we do. Sometimes I drag myself to work when I shouldn't be. So what happened is, out of nowhere, some days the body will just give up. Will just give up. I will sit in front of my computer and my mind will not work and nothing will work, or I'll have a headache or something like that. So I will take an undeclared break on some days. So that's also acceptable, because that's something I still have to study, like how many days and how many sequences, what kind of sequence is actually causing that. Haven't really done experiments on that, but I'm pretty sure we can figure that out. But I let it happen. If that happens, it's a call from your body to recover, and just let it happen. Everything else can wait. Usually my work with clients, funnels and stuff, if the clients build themselves, they take probably a month to build that, take me a couple of hours or a day or two maximum, and I give them a deadline of, let's say, 2 weeks in advance. So I have enough time in any worst case scenario to deliver the project. So I'm never in pressure of delivering the projects. That's a trick basically I learned. And that was amazing. That if you can deliver a project in one day, don't promise one day, promise 1 week, 2 weeks, and relax, enjoy. So and if they do it themselves, they will take more than 2 weeks anyway. Those are the things that I allow me to enjoy sometime.
Lovely. So let people know how they can find out more about you and get in touch with you.
Yeah, cool. So I'm building a community right now. It may be called something different at the time of release of this podcast, because we are going through some brand change. But right now it's called Growth Hacking Community for Business Coaches and Consultants. And the link to go to that is group.booksmind. joe.booksmind.com. JO for Joe Dodds, joe.booksmind.com. So the link, even if we change the name of the community, I have the control over where people from this link will go. So I will direct the link to the right Facebook group community. So the community is part of 3 or 4 things that it has its own newsletter. It's on free membership area where it's a content library, content toolkit. We call it community toolkit, and that has an additional training from people who I'm interviewing on my podcast, or from community who have some expertise or have written a book and they are summarizing their book or teaching a concept from the book. And these things are basically not available on the internet anywhere else. So you won't just go to YouTube and find the same information. So it's a unique information created by community for the community. And if you're a community member, you would be invited to participate in it as well. And that's a way that I found a great way to allow people to self-promote themselves. Because otherwise communities, if you see, they're full of people posting, I did this, I did that, and like, come and join my offer or whatever it is. I want to keep the community clean, and that's why I allow people to self-promote, but in this way, in a very value-giving way, that inside that area, people can discover you again and again. It's not like social media that you will post something today and then it will disappear later. And keep the social media clean as well that way.
Yeah. Okay, lovely. Well, thanks, Ed. Thanks for your time today. It's been enjoyable talking to you.
Awesome. So I'll also probably find a way to share the link. Maybe I'll put it as one of the things in the toolkit itself, this system, so you can go through it. It's not paid right now. I mean, I did intended to make it paid course, but sometime else I will do it. But right now you'll have all the instructions that I created for you to be able to create your own system based on your personality, your aptitude, and your technical knowledge, and it should help you bring in some structure to your daily rituals.
Lovely. Thank you.
Awesome.
All this information is available in the show notes, which you can get to if you go to the link powertolivemore.com/, in this case, 127. It's been a busy last few days. I've been putting some finishing touches to a whole section of new materials for the membership site, which is all around blogging, including some templates for different types of blogs that you can write. And I was with a client over the weekend, and his clients came to lunch with us yesterday. We had a bit of a dramatic moment when one of them started choking quite badly, and one of our other customers had to do the Heimlich manoeuvre rather dramatically, rather noisily, and fortunately he got, he was fine, and I guess he must have saved his life because it was pretty bad at the time. So yeah, all a bit dramatic, and a further reminder that we should keep our first aid skills up to date, or have somebody handy with us who has those. But yes, so the new materials on the membership site will be live this week, and I'm just this week planning some webinars that I'm going to kick off next month as well, so I'll tell you more about that next time. So again, the show notes for this week's show are at powertolivemore.com/127, and we look forward to speaking to you next week.
Use your power to live more.